Good morning and welcome to the Matchbook Betting Exchange Greyhound Racing Podcast. Here we are on this chilly Friday morning here in Dublin. Don't know what it's like where you are, Paul. I am joined as always by my great pal Paul Lawrence as we discuss all matters Matchbook Betting Exchange Maiden Derby. Paul, it has been a competition that hasn't let us down. We've seen some fantastic displays and obviously the star attraction thus far has been wide open. She will start a very short favourite on Sunday, but it's far from a foregone conclusion.
No, not at all. And she has been the star. You're right. Despite the fact that we had Kulavani Shadow heading the market, unfortunately he was withdrawn with a slight injury problem. But I'm hoping that Patrick will get him sorted very, very shortly. But she certainly has taken the eye because of the fact that she's so inexperienced herself. She is a lady as well, which always is an attraction. And of course, Brendan Matthews has fetched her on superbly, and she came without a trial as well, and she was really impressive and clocked the fastest time as well, Ian. So yeah, she is the one that everyone's eyes are on.
Yeah, we'll get into the semi-finals in a moment, but just before we do kick on, let's just get one or two of the formalities over and done with. Some of you will be watching on, don't have Matchbook accounts. Well, my suggestion would be to get a Matchbook account because we are offering a £30 welcome offer. Bet £30, and if it is a loser, you get it back as a free bet. And the bonus code there is Insights30, Insights30. If you're not just interested in the likes of Towcester on Sunday, of course, all morning and afternoon Greyhound meetings are priced up on the exchange, and of course, being an exchange, the overrounds at the off are 103, 102%. Certainly worth your while. Plenty of liquidity there, especially near the off of these contests from more afternoon. So well worth your while getting involved on the Matchbook Betting Exchange. Let's go into the semi-finals, Paul, because there was a lot to learn from them for the first time of the competition. Wide Open wasn't fastest. We will start with her because she was in the opening semi-final. She had to do it the hard way is probably the wrong way to say it, but things didn't go all together to plan, but at the same time she just had the pace and the power to get there. She broke fast. She was outpaced into the bend by Farney's Maestro, but at the same time she's taken a bump or two from those outside. She drifted off slightly, and then after that she looked at a dead railer because she made the challenge on the inside at the third bend on Farney's Maestro, nudged her way through, and once finding the gap, she just engaged the afterburners. It was like someone had injected nitrous into her. She went 4 clear in the matter of strides and rode all the way to the line and into the escape. She was absolutely hammering home. It was clear that she hadn't done as much running early this time, and you could see her power was there for all to see, Paul.
Yeah, and as you say, she kind of edged off and caused her own problems. I mean, it wasn't nothing dramatic, but it just kind of allowed. She was in 2 and moving off, and it allowed Farney's Maestro to zip up on the inside and show his early dash. And I think I mentioned as well about Farney's Maestro, and I still think that about him. He looks very, very unfurnished as a greyhound. His action is all over the place. His head's up in the air, and I think there's probably more to come from him when he learns how to race properly. And he's still a work in progress for Kevin Boone, but he has got that nice turn of early pace, which is always a serious weapon, especially at Towcester when you're better off the front. In the case of Wide Open, she doesn't need to lead to win. So she's just going to need to mind herself early. But I think she's probably going to have to trap to get herself in the race so she doesn't get caught up in too much traffic. But it will be interesting to see what line she takes. And I'd be interested to see your thoughts on what line she'll take from the red jacket. We haven't seen her yet from trap 1.
No, we haven't. I saw her. Did I see her in red in Ireland? No, I didn't. She was in trap 5 in Sheldon Park. Onto that, okay, I stick on that semi-final just for a second. It was Farney's Maestro second, 2 Wide Open, and back in third was Story's Pee-wee, a dog who again showed plenty of pace from halfway home. Didn't get as involved early last week as he can do. He's out in 6 in the final, but there were 3 strong qualifiers from that opening semi-final.
Yeah, and I have to say, Story's Pee-wee, I'd quite fancied him on Sunday last week in the semis, and I was slightly disappointed at the time, but there were excuses. He did get boshed about a bit, and I think he lost his stride pattern into the first turn because he got crowded, and from being a length behind them or just behind them, he was then 3, nearly 4 behind them, and it was hard work from then on in. I've got a theory that this dog will get into this race very, very early. I think he could easily break from the outside, and I think without a dog being on his outside, Ian, he's got the freedom to take his own line into the turn. I think this dog has got a massive chance in the final.
Yeah, we'll go through the makeup of the final in a minute. We'll touch on the second semi-final. Hell of a kerfuffle, Paul. One for the good guys, one for the good guys. Away and gone. It was a contest where there wasn't a great amount of early speed. Havana Lover didn't get her kick. She never really got involved. Havana Robusto went up second to halfway into the bend. Stories, the PJ's dog arrived on the outside, but it was all about Hell of Kerfuffle. He got to the front, and once doing so, he just never looked like getting picked up. Havana Robusto did run well in second spot, showed plenty of pace down to the third bend to go second again, and back in third was Savannah Camino, who certainly wants further. But Hell of a Kerfuffle. It was a race that it was looked likely to suit him, and he took his opportunity with all four paws.
Yeah, when we previewed the semis last week, we both thought that he could get into the race, and I didn't think the middle draw would necessarily be an inconvenience. I think it might be here in the final, but he's got the same draw. But yeah, he kind of got away with it because there was a vacant trap on his inside, and Havana Love, she just fluffed the lines, really. She just never started. She never got into the contest, and she ended up sort of running on the back of Greyhounds, and that's what Towcester can do for you, what any track can do for you, but running in behind dogs with inexperience as well. So, yeah, again, hell of a kerfuffle. He got on the front end, and he looked quite good on the eye, to be fair to him.
Yeah, he's a nice dog. I think he's improving. I know he's January 20s. He's by some, oh, beg your pardon, he's not Stories P was the eldest, but of the lightly raced performers, he's certainly the one with a bit of age on his side. Havana Robusto, I don't know what his distance is, Paul. You know, I don't know if he has enough early to contend with these, and I don't think he stays as strong enough to maybe a six-bend dog, but he's certainly pacey. He's only in August 20, and it was definitely an improved run from him in defeat. 29-16 run, 29-16 run, or 62 run, should I say. He went up reasonably well. He was a little bit outpaced in the sort of final 30 or 40 yards into the corner, but then did stay on strongly again. He's just a nice, solid runner, but as we'll see in a moment or two, his price for the final is pretty big.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's probably a solid performer without being a flashy performer. I think that's probably the best description. And he's going to need luck. He's going to need to get a wallop and be very prominent because he's going to find himself in behind fast dogs otherwise, and then it's going to be an uphill task.
And then the third one, Savannah Camino. Well, it's very hard to see him getting involved. His price will certainly reflect that, but he's certainly one to keep an eye on when he steps up and trip.
Yeah, he certainly looks a star in the making, doesn't he? And he tends to power home, to be fair. But he's just got no early gears, and he's got no trapping ability at the moment either. So that doesn't help. And yeah, he just looks a six-bend performer already.
Yeah, and that leaves us with an intriguing final. We'll take a quick look at the prices there. One Wide Open is 189 at present. That's better than it is with the firms at present. She's 4-5 best with the fixed odd firms, and I honestly think, Paul, on the night she could be even shorter. I think she's the type that people will latch onto at that sort of price. I thought she'd be settling at around 4-6, 8-13. Farney's Maestro is clear second in the 3.8, and then you have Stories Pee-wee at 7, Heligraph 8.4, Havana Robusto 19.5, and Savannah Camino is at 48. Let's take a look at the final itself, Paul. Wide Opens in 1, Havana Robusto 2, Farney's Maestro 3, Hell of a Kerfuffle 4, Savannah Camino 5, and Stories Pee-wee in 6. I think I know which way you're going. It's probably going to be a bit of a cascade towards the inside from the middle runners. 3 and 4 will probably edge in, where Savannah Camino shouldn't be there. Stories Pee-wee's going to get a run around the outside. I think that's why you think he's going to get into the race pretty early. It all depends on what Wide Open does. If she clears Havana Robusto and just finds herself in a nice pitch on the fence into the bend, she's going to be very hard to beat. But there are little intricacies, like there's little nuances in this race that could make a big difference.
Yeah, without a doubt, and the fact that we've mentioned that Hell of a Kerfuffle from 4 has got the ability to trap. I've literally just noticed that I didn't realise at the time that a lot of the sectionals seem to be much slower than they were for the previous rounds. For whatever reason, I'm not sure about that. But
if you look at last week, Farney's Maestro actually missed the kick and showed good early speed to get there. He was aided by Wide Open bumping into stuff, and I suppose when she's bumping, she's not getting her
Yeah.
forward stride going, and I think that's why the sectionals in that semi-final were pretty slow. But Oliver Kerfuffle did a 4:23. To the eye, it looked faster.
Yeah, it did, and I think for betting purposes and assessment purposes, you've got to ignore those kind of figures, sectionals, and just go with what you know from what you've seen for the form for the previous rounds. And Hell of a Cuffle is a greyhound that will break from the middle, will show a fair decent bit of early pace, not flying by any means, but he could easily dive in. I would have him sort of lane 2.5. So he's going to give Farney's Maestro something to think about. Now you could say, well, hang on, then Wide Open might take advantage of that because you're hoping that she'll clear Havana Robusto on her outside and she'll get into the contest. And that could be the case. And you know, at 4 to 5, that's probably about a price, 1.79, I think 1.8 on the exchange. And all things being equal, you'd say, Ian, if she gets a clear run, she'll go and win. But I don't think we've seen the best of Stories Pee-wee. And we're talking about we've right the way through this really intriguing competition sponsored by Matchbook. I think that Stories Pee-wee was the greyhound that we said had the experience at a top level in Ireland and has come over. Wide Open has come from an A2 at Shelbourne and started to progress and really catch the eye. She's taken to the contours of Towcester. But I obviously am looking for value. I'm looking for what we perceive to be value. And I think that Stories Pee-wee should be much shorter than 7.0 on the exchange. And it could even go bigger. You know, I think he's 7 to back and 11 to lay. So, but I still think the 7 is a wrong price. I really do believe that this dog will have the freedom of Northamptonshire on the outside because Savannah Camino is going to flop out, move into lane 4, and Stories Pee-wee can operate. And Stories Pee-wee is a very, very fast dog, and he stays. If he gets any kind of break and he gets in Wide Open, she's got a race on her paws.
He's going to have to lead her, though.
Exactly.
I truly believe he's going to have to lead her.
But what I'm saying is, I think he can.
She only needs that little rub on the inside, and he could slip around the outside, sort of a catapult action into the back straight, is what you're suggesting.
Exactly, and I think when you look at his earlier rounds, 4.19 across the line, 4.21, I think he can go better than that. You know, I think the fact that he's drawn in 6, he could go wallop. He could easily go wallop and find himself on the outside of 3 and 4, who could be rubbing shoulders. And he'll get the run through. And if he gets that line on the outside, and I said to you last week, and I didn't know, I thought 3 or 4 was his box. And I said to you, when he ran out of 4 in the second round, I thought he was moving off a touch. It won't matter now because if he's moving off a touch, he's got clear daylight. And I think he'll go faster because of that. And that's the way I perceive. I don't think he'll be diving in. I think he'll take a fairly straight line and edge in maybe. But I think he could whip round the outside. And as I say, I think he's a massive, massive price.
As we're standing here, if I asked you to tip the winner, would it be most likely Wide Open? But in terms of picking one at the prices, it has to be Stories.
Correct. And that's the way, as a punter, that's the way your head thinks. Now, you know, I'm not saying don't bet Wide Open at 4 to 5. But if you, as you say, there's a wave of, well, she's a solid favourite. She's unbeaten through the competition. She ends up going, you know, 1.6 something, then I don't then think she is so much value.
Yeah.
So every greyhound's got its price, and I just think that Stories Pee-wee has got a better chance than the exchange says.
I see Farney's Maestro's the 3.8. The way you were talking, you'd be happy to take him on at that price. You'd sooner be on about a 5.2, sort of that sort of price.
Correct. Exactly right, Ian. You're spot on. Great assessment. Because I don't think, I'm not too sure whether he's ready to beat Wide Open yet. What you've seen of the form, I think that 4 Hell of a Kerfuffle is a negative for him because they could easily come close together, and therefore he's not going to put in his best run. So I think things can happen that would conspire against the middle 2 runners. I don't think two's quite good enough for Vanna Robusto at this stage of his career, and I certainly think that Savannah Camino will be turning last and won't be good enough to back run the likes of Wide Open or Stories Pee Wee.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you in terms of I think Wide Open will win. I think 180 is perfectly fair. I think should be
Correct.
shorter on the day. I think Stories Pee Wee will certainly be shorter on the day. I agree with you. And like you, I'd be more than willing to take on 3 and 4. I think there's a chance of a bit of rubbing. I sort of looked at Ivana Robusto. The 19.5 maybe he's a bit in the big side, but he's going to have to go bang. And
Yeah.
I don't know if he is capable of going bang, because Wide Open, if she does anything, is going to take a step right, and 3 and 4 are going to step in, and it could get pretty squeezy in there. No, Stories Pee Wee. In terms of value, I think that's it. We have it sorted. We found the value selection from an anti-post selection. I've got to tell you, I'm hoping Wide Open is there in front at the line, because I'm on at 24, so we're happy enough with that.
Well,
Just to
actually,
mention, Paul, we've picked a few of these from the start. We
yeah,
have Wide
Pee Wee
Open
was the
from the
one for
start.
me. Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's the only one I've got through to the final, Ian. You're right. I mean, you quite shrewdly stuck up Wide Open a really juicy price, and I thought I was being fairly safe going with Stories Pee Wee. It's been a little bit hard work, but I've got to tell you, I have gone in again. I've gone in again. That's the only one I've got anti-post going for me, but I've gone in again because the price is wrong.
yeah, price is wrong. When the price is wrong, Paul, keep going, keep going,
That's
keep
it.
clicking that finger, keep clicking that finger. Paul, any other business? It's an unbelievable card
Yeah.
on Sunday. Of course, you'll be doing the Greyhound watch along. Tell us who's with you on the Greyhound watch along.
Well, obviously, my co-host Tom and I have done this right from the word go, and we've got a really good guest of ours, a solid form analyst as well, Ryan Keneally. So he'll be joining us, and then we hope to get some guests on the day, because it's an afternoon meeting. There'll be a good crowd there, and hopefully we'll get a lot of insight and some good opinion.
So you're hoping people will watch it along on the Racing Post Greyhound television, listen to yourself and the boys chatting about all matters. The 14 races, open races, you have plenty to discuss. Of course, it's an all-sponsored card by Matchbook, and it really is a wide open, or a great card, should I say, from start to finish. So many Derby trial stakes, a few Irish runners and a few notable Irish runners. I speak of the likes of Romeo Magico and Part Blake. We also have Bacchus, Budsit, All About Ted. Some quality performers, and a certain Horn Falcon is appearing. A really top-class card.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that second race on the card, Romeo Magico and Thorn Falcon are the two big names, but you've got a good back catalogue as well, with Stefan's Rocket, Droopy's Barry, Warzone Tom, and Cape Cloud, who won the other day. That Ian, could probably easily be the quarterfinal of the English Derby, without a doubt. That sort of quality. And there's some really, really top class dogs on show. As you say, All About Ted in the very first race. All kicks off at 1:57, as you say, sponsored by Matchbook. It's an outstanding quality card. There's sprints on there as well, and of course we've got the marathon sensation Space Jet. She's stepping down in trip a little bit, but I think her class will see her through. So it's a top quality card.
She'll be a short price Space Jet, over 712 meters. It is a bit on the tight side. Remember, if you think she mightn't just get there, you can always use the pink side on Matchbook. Maybe not the blue side, the pink side, and lay her at a very short price. But a great day's racing to look forward to. Again, we are looking after. We're talking about 14 races, but the feature being very much the Matchbook Betting Exchange Maiden Derby. And again, Paul, your thoughts are that Stories Pee Wee is the value on the outside.
Yeah, I can't really see, other than 1 or 6 value wise. Put it that way. I think that 4 to 5, I wouldn't put you off. 1.8 Wide Open, but the 7 Dead Stories Pee Wee smacks of big value, and obviously it's a juicy price as well.
Yeah, I agree with you, Paul. As I said, I hope Wide Open wins, but Stories Pee Wee will certainly be a bit of a saver on the day for me, have no doubt. Just let you know, Paul, that you won't be on your own representing Matchbook on Sunday, because our own Aidan O'Sullivan, who is the face of Matchbook Insights, shall we say, will be there with Jessie May, of course, a very well-known face and voice. And if you are at Towcester on Sunday, why not tip them on the shoulder, say hello. I'm sure they'll be wearing red from head to toe. Aidan being a Cork man, that generally is his way anyway. But that's it from us today. again, best of luck to all in the final of the Matchbook Betting Exchange Maiden Derby. It's been a wonderful competition, and no doubt there'll be a wonderful winner crowned on Sunday. And again, the Greyhound Watch Along, follow the links. You'll see them on Twitter. Just look them up. Greyhound Watch Along. I'm sure Matchbook will be putting out a link to that also. Paul, the very best of luck on Sunday, and again, best of luck to everybody involved on Sunday in the big final, the Matchbook Betting Exchange Maiden Derby. We'll see you then. But that's it from us. Good luck and God bless.